CJ has been working with us at Kamehameha Schools. She's doing an externship. She's been with us for a month. And so because she's an extern, she gets to be the first presenter as well. So we welcome her. And then also her birthday is tomorrow. So if you want to wish her a happy birthday today, her birthday is tomorrow. So
okay, it's good if this is on. So thank you for that. I'm pretty sure I see Paula saying I was the one who was, you need to do this. I'm so happy to do this for you guys, and hopefully everything goes well. So I'm actually really nervous. So you might see me jiggle the mic a bit, but I'll try to keep it as simple as possible and really just talk about my experience and my educational journey. So let's get started. And I hope everyone has a good night. So the road ahead, with struggle comes resiliency. So basically, we know in this community that most of our students face many obstacles in life, and for me, it's no different. And with this, we become better people and better community members. So that's kind of what my presentation is going to be about. And if I talk a little too fast, you can raise your hand, tell me to slow down. I'm a really fast talker, so this may take a little less than 15 minutes. So who am I? So I am from the Wai'anae community. I graduated in 2012, a very long time ago. I'm feeling it now. The youngest of 12 siblings. You know, my family's over there. You can give them a round of applause for coming today. So this is actually very nerve-wracking because this is actually the first presentation that my family has seen me come up and present. So I hope I do really well. And what's amazing about my position is I'm actually the first in my family to be pursuing higher education. So I do want to become a social worker in the future. I'm in my transitional stage and going to either UH West Oahu or UH Manoa. It really depends on where my financial is. You know, that's kind of the biggest thing that's holding our students back. I graduated with my AA. And before I even go on to that, I really want to thank one of the biggest programs that was my biggest support, which is Ma Organic Farms. And it was a 2-year program where you go and, yes, you work on an organic farm. It's in the name, and it's probably the most hardest work that I've ever done. And I can tell you now, the first day I wanted to quit. I say this in every one of my presentations because that's how I felt. I had the worst job. I smelled like literally, I'm so sorry. Good thing they took the kids out, but I just wasn't feeling it. And when I went home that day and I really looked at my family and I said, you know what, I need to do this not only for me, but for my family. I need to pursue a higher education and get my degree so that my nieces and nephews can see what you can do and what can be done with higher education. So, no? Yes? Okay, so what it means to attend college. Attending college is super hard. Like, I have to take a breath. Sometimes that I want to quit. So I've been going to college for quite some time. So it's been a very long process. And the beginning, I failed. I will tell you now, I got a 1.6. That's probably the worst GPA. I'll put this down. Sorry. So sorry. New technology. But it's probably the worst time that I've ever had because when I wasn't at work, I was at school studying, and some of my family didn't really know how that felt to be going to school, going to work, and really what that entailed by, oh, what do you mean you have to do homework? I have to do, 7 hours of homework. Oh, but you only go to school for 4 hours. Yeah, but with college, it's so hard because you have to put in so much time, and the one thing is you get nothing back in the beginning. So I was basically self-investing in myself for the future, and when I look at it now, yes, it's a great thing, but sometimes, instant gratification is one of the best things that you can feel. And with college, it's really hard for not only me, but for all the students out there, because it's like you're putting all your effort into this, all your hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. Yes, I cried. And you get nothing in return except for a letter grade or maybe a non-credit or credit course. And it's like, oh, where's this gratification? Where's my reward after 2 years of hard work? And I can say I actually finally got my AA in the mail. And I was like, wow, this actually feels really good to come to the end of the road and say, I made it through the 2 years, and I'm willing to work even harder towards my bachelor's and even into my master's, and I'm willing to go beyond that. And with that education, I really want to help my community. That's one of the biggest things that I want, is this change that we're looking for and we're seeing within our community, and not only just the community, the elders, but especially in our youth. So that's where I want to focus my time, because in order to make change within our community, we need the youth to really step up and go into the shoes that they were born to be. So here's a quote I have, and it's amazing that education is a very powerful tool. With education, you really can do anything that you want to do. I mean, I'm not going to say you're going to be the president of the United States, even though we had one coming from Hawaii. It's really hard. And in order to really make change, you got to put the work in. And when you really put the work in, you're going to see the outcomes that you want. So that's kind of my spiel on college life. So some of our obstacles we face, so we've all come from this community. We know what we see. We know the everyday challenges, and some of these challenges I face, and it's definitely hard, especially when you're going to school. And for our younger generation going to school, how are you going to go to school when you don't have food at home, when you don't have water at home, when basic necessities aren't being fulfilled at home? How are you going to focus on the test, on that exam, on that work that you're supposed to do at home, when you have to feed your siblings, when your mom's not home? So these are like really big things that our youth have to face at very young ages. And one thing I don't think I have in here in the other slide is adult childhood. Basically, we're forcing our children into adult position, making adult decisions that they shouldn't be making. Our kids need to be kids. They need to be children and have a chance at better education. And some of our schools in the past don't have adequate learning or teaching abilities. Maybe they don't have enough resources, or the teachers coming in. I know that I had one teacher from the mainland, and she left right after teaching our class that semester. And I was like, oh, come on, you gotta talk pidgin. The people who make the most sense and can really connect to the students is the ones who say, hey, you, get over here. Those kind of teachers really make the impact, because they understand where our students are coming from. And that's actually really funny, because you don't see teachers talking moke, like, oh, auntie, like, oh, I'm not your auntie, your teacher. And these are kind of the connections we need to make with our students, because that's what really gets them to go higher and push them to do their absolute best. So these are some of the obstacles, and these are actual pictures of our community. This is what we see, and this is the things that we want to change now and in the future. I hope I'm not going too fast. So here's some transitional challenges. So from high school to college, it was the biggest challenge I ever had, because the rigor in college is nothing like that of high school. And when you get into college, it's this new mindset of you, not the teacher's gonna hound you to do anything. So some of these I had a very hard time with. Procrastination. I know all the Hawaiian language classes are gonna raise their hand if I say, if this was your greatest obstacle, please raise your hand. So this and time management, those two are brother and sister, I tell you not. So with those two, I had the hardest time turning in my work on time and actually getting it done in a timely manner, to where I was able to do things that I wanted. And maybe that was my fault, maybe some of it. I'll take some of the blame. It's okay. It's okay, college. But that, and I didn't know what college classes was like. When I first went, I was like, wow, we have a quiz on the first day? What is this? And they're like, yeah, it's a syllabus quiz. You have this for every class. I was like, no, you're lying. And then, of course, they had it for every class. And I was like, oh, my God, okay, a syllabus quiz for every class. And then you get used to what kind of level college is. And when you come from Wai'anae High School, Nanakuli High School, and Cameoljade Academy, it's like, it's such a change, and you're not ready for this change. And that's why you see some of these statistics. I put it on a nice pie chart. I did this, so I don't want a bunch of words on here. I know all of us like color and pretty things. So basically, I have our Wai'anae High School statistic against the state statistic, and I put the Wai'anae both in blue. So as you can see, we actually came a little bit higher in graduating high school graduates, getting out of high school and actually earning a diploma, not dropping out. And I'm so proud of that because I know the last time I looked at these statistics, it was about 70%, so it's gotten up a little bit. And then, of course, we have a smaller statistic of that actually getting into a bachelor's degree. So after high school, it's like, oh, what do we do? And only 7.9% of our Wai'anae High School graduates are actually getting their bachelor's degree or higher. And as you can see, of course, it's going to go lower and lower the higher the degree. So these are kind of some of the statistics that really impacts and really shows with these bar charts what is happening in our educational system. So I have a few statistics which I feel really impacts on what we have to say today, because this is what Wai'anae really looks like to other people in other communities, because they don't see your faces, they see these numbers, and these numbers say that we here aren't making a change. This community is really based on these numbers, and this is what it says about us. So basically our median household income is $64,000, $3,000 under the average. And of course that's not even speaking about how much it actually costs to actually live here. So to live here on a fairly good, go out, eat maybe once a week, you need to make about $80,000. So even the state is under how much income you need to make a well living. That's not, going out, Starbucks. That's just, providing enough basic necessities. So that's kind of what that looks like. And then, of course, the cost of living in Hawaii has gone up 40% and is continuing to grow because, of course, we're not self-sustainable, and our imports and our work rates are going up, and that's why we see this cost of living going up. They're building new houses, which makes the income of our community go up. So of course I'm going to talk about the PGA golf course that's going to be happening in Mohala, and how that really is going to boost up all those income houses they're going to build. And really what that does is push out locals who can't afford to live in Wai'anae. And where are we going to live if we can't even live in our own community, because this community is going to be turned out like Waikiki? That's what we're kind of facing here, is our community is being seen as, oh, there's the beaches, and now they're just, making a side of that. But in Makaha, they're making this PGA golf course, and it's like, what are we saying about our community? Oh, we're not a good community, but we can pay for a $500,000, probably a lot more. I'm pretty sure it's $30 million golf course. And what does that say, and what happens to us? And then, of course, that includes going people below the poverty line. So people in poverty doesn't necessarily mean you're homeless. It means that you can't provide basic necessities such as food and water. And 23.4%, of course, they're doing beach searches, beach raids, and taking them off the beaches, but we still have that little homeless community near Wai'anae High School, and that's mainly where most of our homeless, unsheltered comes from. But that does not include all the people who are struggling at home, trying to pay their bills, working maybe 3 jobs just to make a living for their kids. So these are kind of the statistics that we're seeing in our community. Of course, it is decreasing little by little, but with us and people getting a higher education, we can definitely make this a lot higher, a lot lower, and making sure that our children really have a future in education, and not just education, but careers that really make them feel like they matter. Sorry, I'm breathing. So Wai'anae Steps to College. So what's great about this job is I actually work with the Wai'anae High School in Ma'o, and I help them with rigor classes, and I help them with the Career Technical Center now that they're going to have. And basically what that's going to have me do is really prep our students in high school what it means not to just go to college, but to find a good career. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. And I think it's really amazing for me to be not only coming to Kamehameha Schools, but getting to work with my alma mater and helping them really push their students up, because what's great about this job is I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for other people. And that may seem like, oh, what about yourself? That's what makes me happy, is I get to help other people and other students realize their dreams and realize their goals and actually achieve them. Because dreaming is one thing, but the motivation and the action to do it is another. So that's why I'm here, is to really help people put their words into action. So here's some of the things that I feel would help our students in the high school system really prep them for not only college, but with life. So we do have, classes that reflect college classes. So what this means is when they're in high school, some of those classes need to reflect what kind of things that are going to be in college. Because when you go to high school, you can accept papers late, it's okay, maybe there's a deduction, but in college, there's none of that. They're like, oh, that's it, the due date is a due date, that's it. And for me, that was one of the hardest things, because it's like, oh, but it's 5 minutes late. I'm like, and my teacher is like, late is late, no matter what time you turn it in, this is the time it's supposed to be in. If it's not, I'm not taking it. And some of that does not get communicated to our high school students. So some of them do turn in their work, but they don't get the grade that they should be getting because they have little skills about what it really means to turn in homework and other things like that. Deadlines would just add to that because, of course, in college, deadlines are everything. And if you don't meet the deadline, I'm sorry, you should have worked a little harder. And one thing I really love that we're going to start doing is actually having peer mentors. So me in college telling our high schools what it means to go to college, because they may have a sense of what it entails, but they don't actually know what it's like to work to get a grade. Because in high school, it's, oh, if I don't go to class, it's okay. But in college, if you don't go to class, you're going to feel it. And the reason why is I'm paying to go to college, and I'm going to waste $300. That's not right. It's really hard to really teach our kids that. Sorry, my family's like, breathe. And I'm sorry, this is kind of how I talk. I talk really fast. And you're like, oh my God, don't have a seizure. But I'm so sorry about that. That's just kind of how I talk and how I express how much passion I have in this. So basically, other things I have is helping build up time management skills. So when you're in college, the worst thing you have against you is time management. And if we can definitely nip that in the butt in high school, our kids have a better chance of actually completing college. What a thought, right? So of course there's increasing the level of difficulties throughout the year. So they kind of do that, but I bet that if we push our students to the break, I know that they can do better and produce better quality work. So if we push our students as much as I push myself, I know that they can do whatever they want and actually can be what they see. And what they see is us and me in those schools telling them that maybe college isn't for everyone. I always say that because college isn't. Education and the basic systematic way, Western way of thinking isn't for everyone. But if you get some type of knowledge, some type of education in anything, you can do what you want. So it's just the importance of higher education in any way, shape, or form. Yes. So what's great is we do have educational change that is happening now. So one thing I thought was really interesting that I didn't have in high school, which I wish I could have done, which is early college high school. Yeah, so basically they give out college credit to high school students willing to take college credit courses. And the courses are going to be based on basic level courses, so English, math, and psychology. Those are three of the main subjects that you would need in any field that you would go into. So they do offer those credits to our high school students who would be dual enrolled. And I've actually met some of those students, and they're feeling it like I'm feeling it, because maybe even more, because not only do they have high school, but they have college. So as you can see, we have this change in our students to where they want to go to school. They want to get a higher education. And they're willing to not only do high school, but do college courses. I don't know if I could do that, but I'm really happy for them. So we do have foundations. A foundation is really the best thing to really build up our students, because with a weak foundation, you're going to fall. If we build up this strong foundation in education, we can show that we do have students graduating. So I have some of the programs that we have on our side. So Ma'o Organic Farms, which I'm actually associated with, which is actually one of the social enterprises we actually have under Kamehameha. The others are digital media side. It's the same type of program, but they deal with digital media stuff, pictures, PSAs and things such as that. We have the G2FO, which is a support system in college. For the first year students, we have support systems, so counseling. We actually provide a $500 stipend with the completion of a course. So when they complete the actual course, they get $500. We also pay for the books, because one of the other biggest things that you must buy in college is books, and that can range anywhere from $200 to $600. So about $600 is what I pay in books now. Always fun to pay my actual tuition and pay books. So we have the University of West Oahu that is built right outside of our community in Kapolei, which is great, because one of the biggest factors of people failing at UH Manoa is that really long bus ride. So it takes them about maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours on a good day without traffic. And they have to do that twice, once in the morning going and once in the back if they don't dorm. So we do have a university, accredited university right here in our community. And another thing we have is 3 accredited high school programs that can push out seniors. So we have a Hawaiian charter, which is Kameoljade Academy, and our 2 public schools, which is Wai'anae and Nanakuli. So we do have foundational programs that are in system that is really helping our students improve their education. And this is just a works cited page, so I'm a little bit done with my presentation. That may have been a little sooner than I thought. So I wanted to put a works cited page just so you know that I'm not making up any of these statistics, that they're actually real, and you can actually find them online. So here's some of the statistics and where I found them. So that's that. And any questions, and I leave you off with a quote. So, education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who are prepared for it today. Malcolm X. Any questions? Any questions? Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any questions? I know my family said they were going to grill me, so you can start. Yes. Not necessarily. They're really just trying to implement college learning into our school systems. I can learn more about that when I actually work with the high school. So I'm still in the process of what can be done with our high school students. So great question. And basically, they're just having college courses offered to our high school students. Yes, I know that so far they only have certain courses, and maybe that's due to funding reasons, because college courses do cost money, and it really depends on how much students are in demand of that type of education, because high school within itself is a pretty fun year, you know, especially for the seniors. Any other questions? Yes. What about the non-traditional courses? Do you guys have a listing or programs where people can find going to college, maybe Okay, good question. So our non-traditional students are basically students who are a little bit older than the average age that people would go to school. So I actually have a few old people in my class that are really fun to sit with. Aunties, oh, Auntie, can you borrow your book? She's 30 years old, coming back to school, going to school with me, and I'm like, wow, you're 30? That's cool. That's awesome. But we do have support systems for non-traditional students, especially in the LCC Wai'anae, because most of our students who are non-traditional go towards our Wai'anae Coast facility. So they have financial aid and financial counseling support for them there. So if you are looking to get your degree at 60, it doesn't really matter how old you are. Please at least look into getting a higher education. I support you. I always think it's really cool having a auntie as my peer